Before I show you anything, I want to say this to you very clearly. You've written not just a good book, an amazing book. You did the work. You've done the work. Maybe you do still feel invisible. I get that. But that's not because you failed. It's because the market changed subtly, quietly, behind the scenes, without even telling you. And most authors were never shown what actual visibility really looks like, and especially how it works now. This isn't a pitch that's disguised as a way of trying to teach you. I want to just walk you through and show you clearly, behind the scenes, exactly what visibility looks like for you and for your book, and help you know exactly what to do to be visible again. So you can decide then what is best, what is next for you to do. Is that fair? Do you feel okay with that? I hope you do. I'm so glad to have you here with us today. I am going to share my screen and we are going to jump right in to this incredible, designed specifically for you teaching to be able to help you see your marketing isn't broken. It's buried under all the noise. Clarity is what good books use to stay seen, or what keeps good books from staying unseen. And today is actually what starts your visibility. I want this to be an orientation session for you to help you understand exactly and specifically what is real and how book marketing truly works, where to use your book, and where in the marketing your book fits. Clarity first, and then we'll talk about decisions and other things like that after that. I want to make sure that you are clear. You see, here's the reality. There is good work, great books, really well written, things that people need to read. They are put out every single day. Absolutely, they are. And yet, these books sit in a space where nobody knows they exist. I know, even as I'm saying this, you're feeling it. You're in that space. But they stay unseen, and it happens every day. We know statistically that out of all the books that will be written, and there's going to be somewhere between 2 and 8 million books that will be published just this year alone, and it's been over 2 million per year, every year, for the last 4 or 5 years. There are hundreds of millions of books. But the average book sells less than 40 copies ever in its entire lifetime. And most of those, let's face it, they go to your mom, your dad, your friends. You buy them yourself, that kind of a thing. And remember, that's an average. So that means that the books that sold millions of copies, like the latest book that Oprah's promoting, or the latest book by Tony Robbins, or a book that Taylor Swift puts out, or something like that, that means that those books bring up the average of all of the books, because a lot of them sell none, brings the average back up to 40. All right. So I want you to take a minute to breathe and to give yourself a break for that feeling that you have inside that your book has been unseen and that somehow it's your fault, you're to blame, and you need to beat yourself up over it. You see, marketing changed. It wasn't your fault. They didn't put out an announcement and say, hey, here's some differences that are happening in our algorithm. Here are the things. There was a time, not that long ago. I mean, it was 4 or 5 years ago, but not that long ago, where you could put a book out, and if you did the SEO right, your book would make it on the bestseller list day one. Now it's a minimum of 3 to 4 days in most cases. And if you don't get your SEO right, you're not going to show up at all. And here's the thing. Used to be that if we could make your book a bestseller, just that one credential alone was plenty to be able to ride, really for the rest of your marketing career on. I am the best-selling author of the book on blah, blah, blah. I mean, I've even heard experts, people like Seth Godin, who was the initial marketing director for Yahoo and has done millions of other things since then, who just flat out said, you got to have the book. It used to be that just being able to say you were a bestseller was enough. But then somewhere along the lines, everybody has a bestseller program. And it feels like, even though it's not true, it's actually less than 3% of people that ever make it even onto the bestseller list. But it feels like everybody's a bestseller these days. You see, we did some really great things. AI came in, helps you have the capability to write or to deal with your book and put it out very quickly. You could literally write a book in a day now. Now, there's some ways that I actually taught people way before AI could do those kind of things, how to be able to do their book in a day. But you really could. Publishing is so much easier than it used to be. I mean, before Amazon, there was CreateSpace, and there was still, it was a pretty easy process to get a book out. But before then, you had to go through traditional publishers, and you had to jump through all their hoops. And then, most people got turned down still. What has that done? What it's done is it's caused fragmented attention by all of the people, everybody really, to the point where there's just so much noise that it's hard. It feels sometimes impossible. And there are too many quote unquote gurus out there that are filling our heads with things that aren't really true. They work. I'm not saying they don't, but they're things that work usually with people who have massive budgets or already have a following. If you are starting from scratch, you don't have much of a following, or it's not a very active following, you've got to do the things that are going to allow you, help you become and be truly visible and valuable in this world. Does that make sense? How does that feel? You see, even in the world of AI, where it's supposed to make our effort easier, we're still kind of shared the story and told, do more, work more, put in more effort. I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say the other day something along the lines of posting 60 to 100 times a day on social media. Yeah, if you're Gary Vaynerchuk and posting on social media is all you've got to do today, and every time you do, you're going to make money, you can totally do that with your business. But most of the rest of us, we were already working 10, 12 hours a day before we had to add in, not just one social media post, but now let's do 60 or 100 of them. But that more effort, even if you did it, it didn't show up as visibility because simultaneously we've got so many more postings. All right. AI allows you the capability where you could do that 100 and you could create the 100 posts, not having them posted, but create them. You could do them in a few minutes. I have a friend of mine that has a whole custom GPT that they've written that'll allow you to write 60 days of posts. It's like 1 to 3 posts a day. And you can go through the whole process. In fact, if you already know what you want to write about and you know your stuff, you could do it in about 10 minutes. If you need to do some research or put together the stuff, you can still do it in under an hour and have all the posts ready to go. And all you got to do is just post them. You could give them to a VA and have the VA post it, and poof, you've got 3 to 5 posts a day for the next 60 days. And you did it just that quick. And AI allows us the ability to do that. But it also has created this lack of trust thing that's going on in the world. Most people just try harder and harder and harder. And it's working harder in a broken system that's created exhaustion, not breakthrough. Because we were told our book was the engine. We were told that if you just write the book, that'll be everything. And yet, the book isn't the engine, it's the leverage. It's the thing that makes the lift easier. You know, I love this little picture here because, you know, it's the thing that if you use it, the thing that would be impossible for you to pick up by yourself, you can easily pick up. Your book done right and put in a place where it's visible, where it needs to be, will exponentially multiply your visibility. But just having a book, just going poof, and you put the book out on Amazon, that doesn't create it by default. And misunderstanding, hey, I've got a book, how come I'm not a multimillionaire now, has created a lot of frustration for a lot of us, hasn't it? You see, visibility isn't about who's the loudest, who has the biggest mouth, who has the most noise. It's about know, like, and trust. It's about helping a person understand, I understand you. It's not about having 10 million followers. You'd be better off to have 10 really loyal followers that every time you bring something out, they're going to also repost what you did, than to have 100,000 people that don't do anything with it. You need the understanding. You need real followers. You need to be a person of influencer, not because you're an influencer that is willing to do any vapid thing they need to do in order to be able to get followers. You need to create know, like, and trust. That allows you to be understood. Because real readers, real human beings getting your book, reading your book, and telling the rest of the world what they like, don't like, whatever about your book, that creates a signal. And that is what will be seen and heard and move above the noise, is the signal. Signal is how the market decides what matters. Not noise, not more volume, not louder. Signal is how the market decides what matters. Your audience, it isn't the problem. Knowing who you're writing to, what you're writing about, that was never the problem. The readers are out there, I promise you. They exist, and they're looking for exactly what you do. They're on Google, Amazon, on a ChatGPT. They're searching for the solution that you're sharing in your book. The gap is structural. It's not the quality of what you wrote. They want what you've created. But we need to get you access to those people so they can see and know and use what you've created. So let me tell you specifically how exactly Signal works. This is actually exactly what works. The market recognizes movement. It recognizes momentum. And when we talk specifically about books, that happens in a couple of ways. Real people getting your book. Okay. Real people purchasing it, not just, views on your page is a start, but then them actually getting it is the thing you want. Then those people actually actually reading it. And most importantly, taking the time, that verified purchaser, that real human being that got the book and really read the book, taking the time to come back and review the book. Because here's the thing, and we know with every product we buy, whether it be a book or anything else, what's one of the very first things you do? You scroll down and you look at what the reviews say. Or at the very least, you look at the little star thingy, and is it 5 stars? Is it 4.4? Is it 2 stars? When you see something that's 2 out of 5 stars, how likely are you to just move on to the next and not even go any further than that? A lot, right? And if it's, it doesn't have to be a perfect 5-star rating, but, when it's in the 4s, we're going to go down. And a lot of times we even look at what's the worst review. We do it with places we want to stay, cars we want to buy, everything we want to buy. We look at what the reviews say. That creates the early trust, which is what you need in order to be seen and to be heard, that will lead eventually towards you getting paid. And that works. It absolutely works. But it takes time. It takes time to find genuine people who care about your topic. It takes time to find legitimate transactions that matter to the algorithm. It takes time to get the people to actually engage, to actually write real reviews. It works, but it takes time. Real visibility. Oh, I want you to hear this. Real visibility is built through consistent and authentic signals, not through some kind of overnight hack. Now, can those authentic signals be done for you and done quickly? Absolutely. I have absolutely seen books that have done that. But it takes time. It's complicated. There's labor involved. You got to create relationships. And more than anything, you need to have consistency. Without that consistency, you will not make the move that you want to make. You got to spend a couple of weeks just making the initial signal, and then a few more weeks getting the platform to even recognize that you're there. And then you move into the weeks where, your momentum is just, starting to trickle out. So that, over the course of doing it yourself and doing it the slow way, in, 2, 3, 4 months, you start having visibility. Sounds like a lot of work, doesn't it? But here's the thing. The first 10 real reviews, that changes momentum. That 10 reviews is, and I don't want to call it magical, but it really almost feels that way. It is absolutely the thing that breaks that credibility threshold, triggers the algorithm, and begins the start of your social proof. And if you've gotten 10 reviews before, but they're old, that's going to do the same thing for you. What I've seen happen, okay, and whether the book came out a week ago and then we do 10 reviews, or the book came out 20 years ago and then we do these first 10 reviews, we've seen books even reach into the top 10. I've even seen a few of them make it to number 1, just with these first 10 reviews. Now, it's not going to stay there. It's not going to be there forever. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It's the start. It doesn't happen every time. You might be like Dawn's book, where your book goes from being in the 9,800 to being ranked at 1,200. That's a huge leap. It isn't the top 10, but it's massively amazing. And that can happen from as little, and did happen from as little as that first 10 reviews. Now, there's more to visibility, but this is how we start the momentum. I've spent decades inside of book launches, working on visibility campaigns and marketing systems. And what I can tell you is every single time this pattern shows up, and it shows up over and over and over again. So let's kickstart your visibility. Let's do the thing that you need to get visible right now. Not a forever solution, but 10 real reviews that are the ignition. We'll do the outreach for you. We'll help. We'll find the readers for you. We'll do all the follow-up so that you get 10 real verified purchasers that read your book, come back, and write a review. We're not here to control what anyone says. We're just guaranteeing that the work gets done so that you don't have to. Now, absolutely, you can do this yourself. You can build the relationships, do the outreach, and be consistent at your follow-up. Absolutely, you can. Or we can do it with you. We can be your strategic support. We can find real people that will really read your book, and we can do something that can create momentum for you right now. I'm talking like still this week, maybe even as soon as tomorrow. We can absolutely do that for you, and we would love to do it. We totally, completely would. I'm moving my notes over out of the way because I want to look at you here for a minute. I want you to understand something. If you want to do this yourself, you can, and you know exactly what and how to do. And if you're ready to stop being the best kept secret, if you don't want to spend the next year waiting for visibility to slowly happen, but you'd like to see it kickstarted and have it really actually happen, you want that momentum to start now. That's what I created the Visibility Kickstart for you. That's what it's here. I'm not here to give you pressure. You don't need to feel a sense of urgency. I just want you to know there is a clean, clear step that either way will do what you needed to do and will help you stop assuming that effort was the issue or that your stuff isn't good enough. You see, clarity changes everything. You can literally just drop the comment, the words, amplify, or you can go to clarityispowerful.com and you can jump right in right now. Either way, you are absolutely invited. I'm so delighted to be here with you. I can't wait to see you be clearly visible. I'm proud of you. I'm honored to be here with you. And I hope until we're together again next time, you have a great week.